Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. Today we are working on Dollar Tree summer crafts for your home decor. Make sure you go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any DIY craft related videos from me. First up is project number 1, so let's get started. What you're going to need for this project is one of these chalkboard signs, one of these wide arrows, some wood hearts. I had these left from Valentine's, or if you can find these wood chalkboard hearts, and a home word. Now if you can't find this home word, Walmart does have some letters you can buy individually for the smaller for $1 a piece. And what I did is the chalkboard sign, I took it apart so that I could have the base, and then I'm also taking apart this home word and I'm removing the O and I'm replacing it with one of these hearts. The heart has a hole in the middle, so I took wood filler, filled it in, and then sanded it off. And then what I'm going to do is take the rest of the home word apart. And then, of course, on the arrow, I want to remove the rope and the staples. I'm going to fill in the groove here that was left when I took the chalkboard sign apart, and I'm filling it with hot glue first just to take up most of the space, and then filling up the remainder with this wood filler. And of course, when it's all done, I will go ahead and sand it all up and make it nice and smooth after it's dry. And then I'm going to paint these two items, and I mixed paint with this Debbie's Design Diary DIY chalk paint in Gravel Road, this chalkboard black paint from Dollar Tree, and then the white acrylic paint from Hobby Lobby. And then I'm going to paint the arrow all sides, front and back. And then, of course, I'm going to paint the bottom piece as well. I was originally going to just leave this arrow all paint, but later on I decided to cover the front in some design paper. Okay, so the heart I'm just painting in straight Debbie's Design Diary Gravel Road paint, and then I'm using Debbie's Design Diary White Swan and painting the letters. And I paint a couple of coats on each item. Originally, as you can see here, I painted over the blue letters just in white, but when I went to go sand it, I didn't like the blue showing through, so off camera I sanded off the entire front, the blue, replaced it with some of that really dark paint that I painted on the arrow, and then repainted over it again in white. So as I'm sanding here, I'm distressing the heart so you can see some of the wood shine through. And now as I distress the rest of these letters, including this H and E, you can already see some of that dark gray paint shining through that I just told you about, where I went ahead and repainted it. But I want to distress everything up. So now I'm using this scrapbook paper I have. I'm tracing the arrow, of course, and then I'm using the arrow and I'm moving it over about 1/4 of an inch, as you can see here, and redrawing my perimeter, moving it in about 1/4 of an inch all the way around and redrawing around the perimeter so I have a smaller size arrow. And then I'm taking this to my sewing machine to add some texture and sewing around all the edges. Then I'm going to open the edge of my scissor blades and I'm going to scrape along the edges of the paper as well to add some more texture and distressing, so that just gives it that nice rustic farmhouse look. Taking my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue here, and I'm going to glue this piece of paper right onto the front. Then I'm going to go ahead and, again, using my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, and I'm going to glue the arrow right onto the base here. I'm just tracing my line so I know where to add my glue along the back and the bottom, setting it onto my little base here, and then I go ahead and clamp it and let it set for just a few minutes so it's all nice and sturdy. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some splatters onto my house. I'm just mixing some of that Debbie's Design Diary paint and some water, using my paintbrush, dipping it in the paint, and then tapping it to add splatters onto the front, as you can see here, to add a little more texture. And now we're going to go ahead and assemble our home word. Just kind of using a rubber mallet here to put it back in so I don't mess my paint up. And then I'm laying my letters onto the arrow where I want it. And then off camera I traced it so I knew where to add the glue, just kind of like how I did on the base when I wanted to glue it to the base. I turned it over and held the letters in place, made a pencil mark and traced it so that I knew where I wanted to be able to glue it right back onto the wood arrow. That is, of course, now a house. So I get that on there, both of those, and I just let it set for a little bit and let it dry. I do that off camera, of course. And then I'm going to add my heart that's going to be, replacing our O in the word home. glue that on so it touches both of the letters. And this is Woodwords I got from Tuesday Morning Store from Heidi Swap, and I'm going to glue this Woodward at the top. So here's your first kind of quote here for this sign. It says Simply Home. I'm going to add this word sweet. These are Beautiful Board laser cut chipboard. It's a quote called Sweet as Honey I get from Reneabouquets.com. So I'm going to glue this on the heart. So now instead of it saying Simply Home, now it says Simply Sweet Home. I add 3 words to this project so they all kind of just go together, different quotes but all together. Simply Sweet Home. Adding a little bit of thin twine. I took 3 pieces, put them together and made a bow. And then on top of that, I'm going to glue a little heart here, a little wood heart. These came in a little package of wood hearts I got at Dollar Tree at Valentine's. And this is a plastic word I'm adding here to the front, and it says together. So now the quote says Simply Sweet Home Together, or it could say Simply Together, or Sweet Home Together. They all just kind of go together to form a quote for this project. And this project is complete. Nice and easy, super sweet. Let's move on to project number 2. So Dollar Tree got in these great summer tea towels. Love them. They have a wonderful linen fabric texture, perfect for making some pillows. So you're going to need 1 towel per pillow. Now these pillows, of course, these towels, of course, have a nice rolled finish edge on them. So on both of your towels, or however many you're going to do, you're going to want to cut off that rolled edge. And I thought this would be a great way after you cut the edge off to add some texture to your pillow and make it a little bit easier in putting it together. So as you can see here, I'm just pulling on threads around the edges of the towel to make some tattered edges and texture. Once you're done with that, fold your towel in half, cut it, and in the areas where you cut, go ahead and texture those as well by pulling on the threads and fray those edges all the way around both pieces. If you are not a sewer, it's time to use your hot glue gun. What you're going to do is hot glue all the way around 3 edges totally, and then half of the bottom edge, leaving about a 5-inch opening. If you're a sewer, you're going to do the same thing. Take it to your sewing machine, sew all the way around on 3 edges and half on the bottom edge, leaving that opening. And then what I actually did is I ran that through twice. So I did like a double sewing line here just to add a little bit more decorative touch. Leaving the opening, you're going to stuff it. I buy these big jumbo pillows from Walmart for all my stuffing of my pillows because it's a lot less expensive. Stuff it as full as you want it. If you're hot glue, go ahead and glue that closed. If you're sewing, of course, go ahead and sew that opening closed. Got a wood heart here that came from these wood hearts I got at Valentine's, and I'm going to paint it with this black chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree, which is surprisingly good thick paint. I'm painting it front, back, and around the sides. I'm drying it with my heat tool, and when it's dry, I'm going to go ahead and clear coat it with this matte clear enamel, because since I painted the whole thing, I don't want that paint to ever get hot and rub off onto the pillow. Now what I want to do here is make it look like these chalkboard tags, but the tag itself was too big, so I'm just recreating it using one of these metallic white pens I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to add some dash lines around the front, around the whole entire perimeter. Our pillow is almost complete here, nice and easy. I think it turns out super cute. There, this is done, and I think it's a pretty good dupe if I say so myself. And what I've got here, this is some twine from Walmart. It costs just about $1.47, but if you don't have it and have the brown twine from Dollar Tree, you can of course use that. I'm going to do just like I'm showing here. I've made it into a bow, and I'm going to glue it to the front of the heart. But first, of course, we're going to glue the heart onto the pillow. Then the bow will go on top. That'll make this pillow complete. And then I will show you the other pillow I made. Just a little bit of difference coming up here. I think this is so super cute. Here's the other one. I did the same exact thing except I painted the wood button white, distressed around the edges, and then I added the bow underneath. And you have two cute pillows. So let's move on to our last project. So for this project, I'm using these tiny crates I got at Dollar Tree. And on two of these crates, the ones with the most space between the slats, I thought it would be fun to add some texture with these tiny nails I had in my supply. Of course, you can skip this step. And I'm just nailing them on both ends, front and back. I thought it would make it look a little more authentic, like real crates. Now I'm going to start painting. I'm going to mix up Apple Barrel brown paint, Debbie's Design Diary, Gravel Road, and White Swan chalk paint. I'm going to mix them up with water and make them really, really runny. You're also going to need for this project some of these Jenga blocks. You're going to need 4 pieces for one of yours for some feet on your crate. And then I took one of these and I cut it in half to make 2 little pieces for handles on one of the crates as well. 2 paintbrushes from Dollar Tree. These paintbrushes aren't the best quality, but they actually work pretty good for something like this. So what I'm doing is just dipping it into my watered down paint. I'm brushing it on, and as soon as I brush it on, I brush it right off. Now if your paint's still a little bit too dark, you can spray it with water. It'll water it down more and then wipe it off again. Of course, once you finish painting this crate, then you're going to paint your little Jenga blocks for your feet. And then once that is all dry, I'm going to glue these feet on with my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue. Now you can not put feet on it, or if you want to put feet on more than one crate, you are of course welcome. And I should say earlier when I said I cut a Jenga block in 2, I had to use a miter box and saw. If you don't have that, just leave the little handles as long as the Jenga blocks are. Now I'm only adding handles on my other crates because they don't have handles built in like this larger crate. So I'm skipping ahead for you so you don't have to watch me paint. I do the same thing on these other 2 crates, doing gray and white. Here I'm going to glue the handle on one here. Like I said, you don't have to cut the Jenga blocks in half, but see how these don't have handles like the big one did. So that's why I'm kind of doing this extra step. And I only cut one Jenga block for one of the crates because I have these cute hinges that I found off of a box that had broken, and before I threw the box out, I took these off. I thought they'd be like a great textural element. Of course, if you don't have something like this, then that's where the Jenga blocks are going to come in handy. So you'll make 2 sets of handles. Gluing these on with Fabri-Tac glue, and then I've got these tiny little nails. I'm going to go ahead and nail them in as well. Thought it'd be a cute little element here, like I said. Once that's all done, we're going to go ahead, and I've got these little hangy things. I got them in the mixed media kind of scrapbook section at Hobby Lobby. They're like a little loop with an S-hook, and I'm just gluing one on here because I'm going to hang something off of it later. Of course, you can skip this step. So in the handles of the first crate, the crate that actually has handles, I'm taking some of the brown twine from Dollar Tree. I just cut off a nice big long chunk, and I'm just going to wind it around through that handle just to give it a little more texture on the side so that the handles aren't plain. Just kind of gluing as I go. And then I just kind of double wrap it a little bit, just kind of back and forth, just making it kind of look fun and old. cut it off and then glue that last little piece in place, and I do this on both sides. Now I'm going to do some stenciling. These are what the stencils say: wildflower seeds, locally grown produce, and fresh cut flowers. If you don't have that, they have these rub-on transfers at Dollar Tree. You can cut the words apart for letters, or of course they have letters, but they're a little bit big. So that's why I thought if you bought these rub-on letters at Dollar Tree that were words, you can cut the words apart and cut out individual letters. Or you can draw them on with a paint pen, or small letter stickers that Dollar Tree might have, anything like that. So I'm using this black chalkboard paint as my paint, and I just use a pouncy brush, and I dip it into the paint, and then I scrape the edge off onto the edge of the little cup, and then I pounce it on, and I just do a couple of coats. And I'm just kind of skipping ahead for you so you don't have to watch the whole process, but I just cover the whole stencil, of course. And then once it's all dry, I'll go ahead and peel off the stencil, just like this, and peel off the little negatives. Now the first crate, I started out with the quote. It's the same quote. I ended up not liking the way it looks, so I reprinted in a different font. So here's the bottom crate. I like how this looks. Once I'm done with all the stenciling, all the boxes, I take some sandpaper and just kind of sand it off and make it look distressed. Here's the second crate. That bottom is the third crate. This is the second crate. Here's the first crate. Taking some twine again around it, and I'm going to just glue it around the top to kind of help bring in the twine, like on the lower crate that's through the handles. I'm going to do this on the top, around the top crate, just to kind of make it all tie together. I think off camera I end up not liking the brown twine, so I tear it off and I go around it again with the white twine that I used earlier on the pillows. Now I'm going to add, these are some little like corner hinges I got at Walmart, and they came in black. Actually, no, I got these at the local hardware store. Walmart has them in silver. I found black at the local hardware store, so I just sanding them and then just using some of this distress ink and just kind of distressed them to put a little brown ink color on it, and then I'm gluing them on around the corners. So if you just get the silver ones, if you think this is cute at Walmart, they're only like, oh, I don't remember, $2 and something. You know, you don't have to do anything to them, but glue them all around the edge, just to, again, a little more fun texture. And now this is a pail I got from Dollar Tree. They come 3 to a set in the wedding section. These are some flowers I picked up from Dollar Tree, some of these chalkboard wood stakes from Dollar Tree, and I've got a little bit of the styrofoam again from Dollar Tree. I just cut a little square chunk and put it in the bottom of the pail. And then I'm going to add both of these little sunflowers and these other little flowers. I'm going to take some tweezers and kind of stuff them down into the styrofoam. I'm basically making a little bucket of flowers. Now I'm going to put in many as I want, because the top crate says fresh cut flowers. So I wanted to make a little flower pail to kind of glue into that top crate. And again, all the design elements I use, like those little hinges and all that, just use what you have in your stash or what you can find. So I'm just using this little metallic paint marker again, like I used on the pillows, and I'm drawing on this little sign and just making it say 25 cents, adding some little dots around the numbers, and then I'm going to add some little dash lines around it, just whatever you think would be cute. And then I'm going to take this little sign and then just kind of poke it into the styrofoam into the bucket. Super cute. So it makes it look like there's, you know, fresh cut flowers for sale in the bucket. Adding another piece of styrofoam in the bottom of the crate here, because I want to lay the little flower pot here sideways, so it kind of tilts a little bit. And I'm adding some of this moss you can get at Dollar Tree and kind of tucking it around in there. just so it covers the styrofoam, and I end up off camera adding some moss in all 3 crates. I changed the view here for you so that you can see. Here's the S hook I talked about earlier. We're hanging it on that little hanger there, and I've got these cute mini rusty pitchfork and shovel I found at a craft store about a year ago. I'm hanging them on the front. I thought it made a great textural element. I just love how it turned out. That little fraction, that little half metal number on the bottom crate, Hobby Lobby scrapbooking section, products by Tim Holtz. He has all sorts of mixed media embellishments, and those are little metal numbers, so I glued that to the front because I thought it made great little, again, textural design element on there. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed these projects today. Also, please, I am curious to know, leave me a comment down below. Let me know which project you like best, the home sign, the pillows, or the mini crates. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. I really thank you for sharing your time with me. I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.